Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today about the nut industry and Hammond's Products Company and the importance of the black walnut tree and the nuts to Hammond's Products and to rural America. So, Hammond's Products has a marketing board that works with different landowners, nut growers, agri people that promote black walnuts as a nut, as a food product. Also promotes the shell for sale. Promotes people growing black walnut trees. Also promotes small businesses that buy black walnuts for us. Black walnuts are important to many different people. First off, the customer. I'm sure all of you, or I hope all of you have tried black walnut ice cream. That's a real high market for us. Probably approximately 50% of our nuts are sold through black walnut ice creams. And so it's very important to the customers whether they buy the nuts and take them home and bake with them or eat the black walnut ice cream. We have food processors like the black walnut ice cream, industry processors. We do have some candy companies that buy the black walnuts, put in their candies, bakeries. Several restaurants anymore are using black walnuts in some of their recipes. Most definitely the harvesters. People picking up black walnuts, selling them. We buy in about 10 to 15 different states, depending on what year it is, with about 200 to 250 different buyers in these small businesses that set up a buying station and buy from the local people. And the harvesters are people, mostly families, that just go out and pick up their walnuts, whether they're in their backyard or out in their pastures, fence rows. This is a wild crop that can either be harvested or not harvested. And so it does provide a market for people to go out and make a little extra money and to sell their product that's on their farm. Growers, there's a lot of people that grow black walnuts for the lumber. We would like to see more people growing black walnuts for nut production. It's kind of a different type of tree in that we want a great big canopy that produces nuts that are real thin in shell and high volume of kernels. The wild crop, we will get 6-7 pounds of nut meats out of 100 pounds that we purchase. Some of the wild or some of the improved varieties will get 25, 30, 40% kernel to shell as far as percentage. And so that industry is going to grow. We're going to have some improved varieties that are going to be planted, and it's in the early stages, but the opportunity is great for the landowner and the farmers out there to produce nuts for nut production, or black walnut trees for nut production. Small businesses, most of these are just individuals that set up the buying stations in the rural communities. We rarely go to the Knoxvilles and the big towns and the cities. We're out in the little small towns that mainly concentrated in the farmland areas, the pasture lands and stuff like that. And so we'll set up a buying station in a real small community, and local people will bring them in and sell them. And so it is a rural America opportunity to provide a little money for these small communities. There's the ice cream. Some of the baking products, some of them are commercial candies, and some of them are just take a bag of black walnuts home with you and bake with them. That's some of the different recipes that we provide on our website. that restaurants or individuals can take home and use to bake with. Sure, probably everybody's seen this area or this picture of the black walnut growing area. We buy about 2/3 of our walnuts in Missouri. If you want to get it more detailed than that, we buy most of our walnuts in the southern part of Missouri. Then we go from an area up through Ohio, down through Lexington, Kentucky, and Nashville, Tennessee. There's a strip through there that we can buy a lot of walnuts, and individuals or little huller operators is what we call them, that can buy a lot from their communities, and very good quality nuts in that area. Up and down, we used to buy a lot of walnuts up and down the Shenandoah Valley, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Knoxville to the east. We used to buy several walnuts in Tennessee. It's a long ways from home, so transportation was fairly expensive, and also the nuts are just a little bit darker in color. And we do everything with electric eyes in our processing plant, and so we pretty much pulled out of that territory, but there's lots of walnuts produced out in that area. Very labor intense on our harvest. Most walnuts are picked up by families going out and picking up in their pastures and backyards. This little man's out there harvesting a crop, and it's an experience that he'll remember the rest of his life. Most of our walnuts are received in open mash bags, brought into the plant. We also receive some walnuts in the bulk. About 31 million pounds this year. About 8 million pounds were in the bulk, most of them locally there in Missouri, although there's a couple of locations in Indiana that buy fairly large quantities that will buy in the bulk for us. The economic impact, annual harvest about 25 to 30 million pounds. Said this year 31 million pounds. This year was an interesting year, as all of them are. Lots of walnuts on the trees this year. We typically start buying October 1, and we were waiting to the 15th of October, and still the walnuts hadn't hardly fallen yet. And so extremely late harvest, and then the weather in some areas got bad, and we only bought 31 million. We thought we was going to buy more than that at one time. 15 states, 65% of them in Missouri, and most of that in South Missouri. Production plants in small towns. We employ about 80 people year round, and another 30 or 40 people during harvest, just to unload trucks and to get the walnuts stored for us. As I said, we get a small percentage of kernels out of the wild crop, and so it will produce about 1.5 million pounds of sellable kernels out of that 25, 30 million pounds. The black walnut shell is very important to us. It consists of roughly 60% of the buy weight of the black walnut, and is used mainly for abrasives, for polishing and cleaning. A lot of it goes to the oil fields. The new product that has been going on the last year or two that has been very good for us is water filtration. With all the drilling and stuff like that, they've got to filter the oil back out of the water, and so that's been a very good business for us as far as the black walnut shell. The priceless impact includes memories like that little boy picking up walnuts with his family, going out with grandpa or whatever, and harvesting black walnuts. for a lot of us, including myself, it was the first money I made as a kid, and I can still remember it, picking up and bringing the walnuts into the plant. Connection to the rural community, small town roots. It's a way of life in South Missouri, and in some areas in Tennessee and Kentucky, where the harvest is big, it's considered a harvest. Traditional smells as far as the taste of the black walnut. Black walnut is very healthy, and most people consider it a comfort food. The lost opportunities. When we get plantations going, and the potential for the landowner is big. We have a few locations that are selling us improved variety black walnuts. We buy them different than we do the wild crop. We buy them on a grade and yield basis, and can make pretty good money as far as per acre growing black walnuts. We think that 5,000 acres could produce over 2 million pounds of sellable nut meats. Right now we're looking at 1.5 million pounds from the wild crop, and so if we can get 5,000 acres planted, we can double the volume of nut meats that are available to the market. There is some large markets that they want a sustainable crop and an assurance that if they put it in their candies or their snacks, cereals, that there is a guaranteed supply of black walnuts. And so we need this to grow our markets. This is an estimated 5 million pounds to the $5 million to the landowners if we get the 5,000 acres planted. It takes the improved variety tree. We have a research farm at Hammond's Products that was probably 30, 40 years old now. It was a learning experience. We planted the wrong trees. Is basically the concept. At that point in time, we didn't know that the improved varieties that had been identified, and we were buying nuts from state nurseries, from local people. We had a nut contest at our Walnut Festival, and growing those trees, and we just don't produce the nuts. We have a new plantation started of right now it's 10 acres of improved varieties, and are pretty excited about what it's going to produce as far as the nut volume. This is a picture of our trees there at Shonef, our research farm, and some of the trees that have been planted. The real problem is they're just not producing the volume of nuts that we would like to have. This is a picture of our home office. The bins behind, we store bulk black walnuts in them. Each one of those bins will hold about 4.4 million pounds of walnuts in shell. Without the black walnut tree, this building is doomed. We're in a small community, 80 people work there, and without the black walnut tree, there's no nuts and there's no Hammond's products. So I thank you for your time. Any questions?